In this slide, you can see how we analyze the site. As the site that you see here in green deals with the sun that comes across from the south, rising in the east and setting in the west, the prevailing winds that come from the southwest and from the northwest, and then every once in a while, of course, we get the nor'easter. And you can see how we wanted to take advantage of the site by bringing people into the site and orienting the building on an east-west axis, meaning we start from the street in the east and head into the site as we go west for a linear design so that we can take advantage of the sun as it moves across the sky in passive solar heating, as well as daylight harvesting, and the ambient light from the north also to pick up daylight harvesting in many of these spaces. The first initial planning organization of the building took into consideration the actual spaces that we were looking to design for the building. We have a staff area down at the bottom, which separates the children's area from the adult area, and we have a library programming space and the main lobby between these two spaces. So as you come into the library, you can take a right and go into the adult section, or take a left and go into the children's section. And that this section here at the front of the building would remain community space for library programming and community use. During the process, we had several meetings throughout where town members came to comment on these initial programming. Many of the people, such as the road agent, the police chief, the fire chief, the selectmen, joined us in our meetings to go over how we could make these plans better and have them evolve into something that actually worked for the library itself. During one of these meetings, we discussed the options of staffing. In the current library now, on the second floor of the library, or the upper floor if you will, there is the adult collection, and that adult collection has a circulation desk. And then downstairs in the children's library, you have a second circulation desk. So essentially you're staffing two libraries right now with the staff that you have. In this design, you can see that as you come in the front entrance, you have a circulation desk for the adults on the right, and you have a circulation desk for the adults on the left. Well, another option that we wanted to consider is what if you came into the library and there was a common circulation desk area shared by both the adult collection and the children's collection. This does two things. Number one, it allows the staff to continue operating the way that they operate, but also give them some relief in that they don't have to staff two desks at the same time. It also allows more of a convenient central location so that at any one time, if a staff member has to go to the back room, to the storage room, to the restroom, there's somebody else covering the desks, and it doesn't leave the desk empty for any patrons that come in the front door. Another thing we wanted to take or get to our advantage is how these spaces are organized. You see here, sort of lining the south side of the building with spaces, how we come in on a common entrance to make that entrance identifiable as originally requested. How do we line up utilities so that we don't block the sun that we talked about was so important during the site design, and how to maximize efficiencies in storage space and restrooms so that it's convenient to everybody, yet minimizes the amount of space that you actually need. All of these designs we were talking about were in the 9,000 to 10,000 square foot range. And after we sort of went through all of those options, we went back to the site so that we could remember, okay, are we making sure that we're designing this in such a way that number one, meets all the staffing needs, meets all the programming needs and the spatial needs, but also considers the ambient light and the southern light with the daylighting so that we could get the most energy efficient building as we can. With that, we came up with a proposed plan. It takes the utilities of the building and sets them right behind the staff room, essentially opening up all of these areas in the adult section and the children's section to that south light that we've been talking about for passive solar heating as well as daylight harvesting. As you see here, you come in the front door and there is community programming space shared by the library and the community itself. There's a small kitchenette and restrooms as you first come in. Based on feedback from many people in the community, there's also the conference room that has also been added into this community area, so that if in fact the budget committee wanted to meet, they could meet in this small room, or if there were larger groups, they could meet in this room. How this is designed is as you come in the front door, we have our facilities, we have our community space, and if we lock this door here, if you're following the pointer on the mouse, and this door here, as well as this door. And what we've designed is a little building within a building, so that when the library is closed, we can open and operate just this section of the building, thereby shutting down the rest of the library, allowing the community and all of the community groups to use this building in an efficient way while not having to open this side of the building, meaning we don't have to turn on the HVAC systems, which is your heating and cooling systems, as well as the lighting systems. You can also see that during our design, we made the building as tight as we could, given that it's a 50-year plan, meaning that you're not going to have large open corridors of wasted space. As you can see here in this plan, again following the cursor, you can see that we have 60-inch handicap radiuses that allow for ADA accessibility, and we also have little 3-foot circles that you see here to show that what we're providing is a comfortable yet minimal means of circulating throughout this entire library, so that you do not have a lot of wasted space. And if you do come down to the existing library today, the Nichols Library, you can see these boards that are presented right by the front door. You'll also see on these boards that this dashed line here, down at the bottom of the screen, is a place for a future library addition to go. The thinking here is that generations or generations after that, if in fact they decided they needed a new addition onto this library, that they could simply take this adult section of the library, which you see here, that have no interior walls, and essentially uses the furniture to design space, can it then expand out the back of the building towards the south to again take advantage of the southern light, yet make this entire flexible area of the library larger. This entire building, as you see it now, is just under 9,000 square feet. In fact, it's 8,957 square feet. Again, with the combined circulation area, we were able to get what we call efficient use of space.